On November 5th, 2013, Sugar Land residents will have the opportunity to vote on a bond election to determine three major new parks projects. A new 65-acre signature community park, the Brazos River Park Phase 2, an adjacent festival site, and a 10-mile network of hike and bike trails with pedestrian bridges running throughout the city. These three parks projects are all amenities residents have expressed desire for and have been planned for some time. However, in order for the city to afford additional projects like these, a bond election is necessary. This election gives residents of Sugar Land the opportunity to determine for themselves three proposed parks projects.
These projects have been on the books for 5 to 10 years, and we've just not been able to come up with a reliable funding source to actually put the projects into place. We need a bond election to actually fund them. The bond election would authorize the funding of about $50 million that would construct these three projects. So we've decided that we need to issue some debt, and it's up to the voters to decide if the projects are worthy of the debt issuance. But with that debt issuance comes the obligation to pay the debt, and that is through our tax rate. So because the voters get to decide, the voters have the choice of saying whether they would like these projects to impact their tax rate in the future with a possible increase in their tax rate.
The city's sound fiscal management has earned it a AAA bond rating from Standard & Poor's and Fitch. This allows the city to finance the proposed projects at a very competitive rate. Even with the maximum increase to the tax rate, Sugar Land will still have the third lowest tax rate among its population range for Texas cities. A $50 million bond election represents a maximum 5 cents on the tax rate over 5 years, only a 1 cent impact per year. This amount will be broken down as follows. The 65-acre major community park would be $18,500,000. The Brazos River Park Phase 2 and adjacent festival site will cost $21,300,000. And a 10-mile network of hike and bike trails with pedestrian bridges will cost $10,160,000. Within the current budget, the city can support existing parks, streets, drainage, and utilities, as well as several planned improvement projects. However, in order to include additional amenity projects, a bond election would be needed.
These are large projects, so rather than phasing it over many years, we thought let's try to see if we can get the bond money in order to construct it at once.
The new 65-acre signature community park, located at Chatham Avenue and Easton Avenue, easily accessible from State Highway 6, 90, and US 59, would include trails, playgrounds, picnic areas, and a pavilion. The park will also provide residents access to sports fields for activities such as cricket, soccer, lacrosse, rugby, tennis, and flag football. More passive amenities would include a labyrinth, great lawn, and bocce courts. The Brazos River Park Phase 2 and adjacent festival site will allow for river access and make use of land near University of Houston Sugar Land. The park would include expanded parkland development along the river with a series of connecting hike and bike trails, open spaces, and a large lake for canoeing, kayaking, dragon boat races, and fishing. Amenities also include a boathouse, shelters, restrooms, and pavilions. The adjacent festival site would accommodate large-scale events like the city's annual 4th of July celebration and other cultural and community events. The new hike and bike trails throughout the city would provide a safe place for walkers and bikers. A network of approximately 10 miles will connect the community to neighborhoods, retail, and the city's park system through well-designed and well-maintained multi-use trails. A critical north-south connection would be built along Ditch H that would cross under State Highway 6 and under US Highway 59. It will include the Imperial Trail near US Highway 98, as well as connections to existing networks. These three projects were chosen based on community input provided over years of public meetings, surveys, and other forums. Feedback from residents shaped the proposed bond election and can be seen in the diversity of the offerings in each of the proposed projects. A Citizens Bond Committee recently recommended the quality of life components. More than 100 residents met from March through May to prioritize projects, consider phasing opportunities, and evaluate funding.
The City Council was very interested in continuing its work on the Master Parks Plan for the City of Sugar Land. They recognized they needed a bond referendum, and in order to decide the exact projects in the proposed bond referendum, they decided to form a citizens bond committee.
Most cities that are about to conduct bond issues will assemble citizens to sort of bounce ideas off of to make sure they're going down the right track.
People from all over Sugar Land volunteered to serve to try to decide the parameters for each bond initiative.
We had over 100 persons, citizens of Sugar Land, who were part of this committee that vetted these projects, that studied them, that prioritized them. So it's been heavily vetted by a fairly large number of Sugar Land citizens already.
They worked with the City Council employees on costing out different projects and staying within the $50 million top price for the bond referendum.
Well, I think the city leaders want to make the right decisions, and they want to make decisions that are in the best interest of the citizens of the communities. So the mayor and city council wanted to make sure that what they were proposing was right for the city of Sugar Land. And so to have a subset of the community talk about the projects, vet the projects, gives them a better idea of what the citizens really want. But now at this point, it's up to the voters. It's up to the voters to decide what kind of city they want in the city of Sugar Land.